And a good morning to you. This is Petrie here with you, live from the Talk Radio studios. And it is time to talk cash because there is a cost of living, I don't know if you've noticed, a cost of living crisis, which potentially, in terms of heating, could be getting better over the next couple of months, and then slightly worse again. But the £2,000 a year cost of keeping your house lit and warm is here to stay for a while, according to experts. Well, let's talk to, I have to say, one of my favourite experts, Dr. Roger Gievold, personal finance expert and founder of Fair Money. Roger, you're not in the studio. I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. I would have loved to have been.
If you'd known it was me, you would have been, wouldn't you?
I found out at the last minute, but I had to go somewhere down a smart highway, which was not very smart.
No, they are a disaster. We need to get rid of them. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
What about the I was just mentioning there about the price cap and fuel and all of those things. It's a bit of a confusing picture.
As always. It's going to come down today by around 400 quid per household. But they're, of course, issuing a warning that it's going to go back up again in the winter, but shouldn't exceed, as you say, an average of about 2,000 per home. So that's good news. But two factors that I think come into play are, one, I'm always reminded of John Penrose, the MP, who invented the price cap, who has said to me over and over again, and to many others, it's no longer fit for purpose. That's number one. But then, we're using so many things in this wonderful country that aren't fit for purpose any longer, so why not? The second thing is that there is still no action on one of my favorite or least favorite topics, Petrie, which is decoupling the price of our electricity from gas. Now, very quickly, 2/3 of our home energy bills are electricity. 100% of that is priced off the international market price of gas. Very quickly, very simply, if you go to the National Grid's website, they have a live real-time clock that shows you what we're using to generate our electricity. And you'll see that on most days it's wind, solar, nuclear, our own North Sea gas, and international market gas, 20%, 30%, 40%, way more expensive than any of the stuff that produces our own electricity. But we're paying, many times more than we need to. One think tank estimates we paid over £7 billion in excess electricity charges over the last 24 months.
Who gets that money, Roger? Like
the
excess payment, the energy companies. So they're the ones directly benefiting.
Yeah, it's not their fault. I mean, they're not crooked. If somebody handed you a bag of money, you wouldn't throw it back in their face. It's up to the government to do something about these ridiculous conventions that have existed since the 80s when those companies were nationalized before Maggie Thatcher privatized them. So the bottom line of all this is that the experts say, or I should say, the experts said when the price cap was approaching $4,000, it was about £3,800, if you recall. They were saying that if they decoupled, if this government simply decoupled before tea time in an afternoon, it would knock £1,500 off every home energy bill. Now, I don't know what the lesser effect of that would be on the 2,000 now, but it would certainly be a hell of a chunk. Yeah. So why don't they do it? If you want to alleviate the cost, on Twitter, if anybody wants to go and look, I've put down a 6-point easy fix to alleviate much of the cost of living crisis that this government could do in an afternoon, in a week. That's one of the points.
But there's got to be a will for that, hasn't there? And do we know whose pension schemes are tied up in these gas companies?
No. Why is there?
There's no interest in doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is there no will? I don't know. But it's one of many things like that. You put your finger on it. It's one of many things like that. It just shouldn't be. It's so easily fixed. And it takes the pressure off us.
But if you don't want to fix it, it's got to be blatant then, hasn't it? It's got to be deliberate.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it could be done, or they're being lobbied by the gas companies or whatever, whatever the heck's going on. But look, if you're being asked to fix your fuel, because some companies are bringing back fixed tariffs now, is it a sensible thing to do, or is this price going to roll and fluctuate for a while? Who knows?
It depends on the tariff. It depends on what they fix it at.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they're being lobbied by the energy companies. I mean, who wouldn't if you were an energy company? Of course. But I mean, I can't really answer the fixed tariff question nobody can answer it until they see what they're being offered. It's a great idea, but it's all, of course, like everything else, in the execution, Petrie.
Exactly that, but that feeding into the stuff we need in our homes. Let's talk about water, because this is a vital, some would say more vital than energy to our survival, and it looks like those bills are going to skyrocket thanks to the ineptitude and basic malpractice of some water companies.
You want to speak, I gather, about what I have started calling Watergate UK.
That's very good. I wish I'd thought of it, Roger.
A few minutes ago, well, more than a few minutes, but less probably than an hour ago, a letter came across on Twitter, a secret letter or email discovered by the lovely lady who runs Severn Trent Water, one of our more profitable companies, worth about 6.5 billion quid, writing to her 7 fellow water companies saying, don't show this to anybody, but we should take a new approach of how we're going to be a whole lot more social and, community focused and blah, blah, blah.
Just fix the pipes and make sure
so that we don't get nationalized when Labour takes over. They're already talking to the Labour Party about this, who have apparently, the letter says, told them to stay stum. I mean, the whole thing is a joke. The bottom line, we shouldn't be paying for it. We shouldn't have these extra bills. You're right. I mean, they caused the leaks and won't fix them. Figure is that something like 75 billion or I can't remember the number, some huge number of billions has been paid over the decades to the private equity and investment
that's what I don't understand, Roger, is how they've been able to pay these massive dividends when there's debt. Why they're paying such vast salaries when there's ineptitude. It's surely there's some sort of corporate law that we can apply here. No,
they're all great questions. I mean, private equity operates on the basis of leverage, of debt. In other words, because they feel that they manage companies better than most companies manage themselves. And in most cases, that's often true. These are professional extractors of value for shareholders and investors from companies. They're good. So they figure that they can leverage up a business to make it more profitable by being bigger with debt as well as the equity they put in. Well, okay, guys and gals and non-binary folk, when you get it wrong, put your hand in your ruddy pocket. It's time for all those funds and sovereign wealth funds and the rest to come up with the money and plug this hole. I kind of think they probably will. Rishi is so busy spending his days thinking about artificial intelligence, probably because there isn't much of the real thing around in this government, from what I can see, that he's not doing anything about this. But if there's anybody who can figure out what to do about debt and restructuring and securitization and asset-backed investments, it's Rishi, because that's what he did for a living.
Yeah, but maybe that's why he doesn't want to get involved at this stage.
No, I think he's going to. I think he's going to have to, and I think he's going to have to try to get them to cough up so that you and Renee and me don't have to.
Yeah, I haven't got a spare 100 billion. I haven't. Dr. Roger Gewald, thank you very much indeed. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Roger.
Personal finance expert and founder of Fair Money.